contrary to popular opinion, contrary to how he's presenting himself right now, Nick Fuentes has actually said infinitely more violent shit about Charlie Kirk than I ever have. So cute, my little Hasanito. Like I said, given what I know about like right-wing meme profiles with shooters, the last one being the Minneapolis church shooter that we talked about. If you remember, the Minneapolis church shooter was a far-right neo-Nazi that was most likely radicalized in one of these Telegram groups, not dissimilar to the Colorado school shooter that actually shot up his school an hour after Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at UVU. And yet, the reason why I'm bringing that one up is because people said, oh, that's transgender radical Antifa. That's a transgender radical Antifa shooter. And they still are saying that. That wasn't the case. And the reason why I say that wasn't the case is because that shooter in Minneapolis very clearly showcased a meme profile that is consistent with far-right neo-Nazi, extremely nihilistic, esoteric neo-Nazi school shooters and mass shooters in general. And what I mean by that is like he was venerating, Anders Breivik and the Christchurch shooter, like all these different white nationalists and white supremacists. Whereas this shooter's memes did not reach that standard at all, which is why I said Tyler Robinson, Kirk's alleged shooter, came from a Mormon family in both law enforcement and the military, but I'm not so certain if he himself was right-wing. A lot of the memes posted on the casings are ironic or of the left variety, different than previous far-right shooters. It's too soon to tell, but this is important to understand. As well, I said, I think people need to understand that there's a massive online far-right wing community that hated Charlie Kirk. This is something that I've brought up as well. Nick Fuentes, contrary to popular opinion, contrary to how he's presenting himself right now, Nick Fuentes has actually said infinitely more violent shit about Charlie Kirk than I ever have. Okay? So it's not like I had a more cordial relationship with Charlie Kirk as opposed to Nick Fuentes. That is the reality. That is the irony, because everyone in the far right and everyone in the right wing thinks I'm responsible for this, and they keep saying I'm the one who's responsible for this. Fuck you, Hasan, you did this. Meanwhile, if you look back at his statements, Nick Fuentes' statements about Charlie Kirk, you will see like he talked about fucking doing an endless amount of violence to him, and also Turning Point USA and whatnot. So they have been hunting and pursuing Charlie Kirk for quite a while, as a matter of fact. So, but that doesn't really matter in this moment, because like everyone on the right is very clearly trying to get together and use this as an opportunity to attack their ideological opposition, their enemies. They're using this as an opportunity to say like, no, it's the left that's hateful and all this stuff. So that's what's so crazy about this entire situation too, because like as far as I can remember, I don't think I've ever said anything that's remotely as violent about Charlie Kirk as like Nick Fuentes has. I mean, here's some choice ones, I think. I mean, there's a lot of metaphor that he uses as well, to be fair, and metaphors are things that I've used as well in the past, not directionally against like Charlie Kirk or anybody like that, but those metaphors are obviously being used currently in clips that are completely clipped out of context to make it seem as though I was like advocating for violence against the right or whatever the fuck, which is yet another story that I'm going to be covering as well. So but ultimately, I'm still of the mindset that it's like entirely too early. But one thing I have noticed is, and I suspect that there is I've noticed the tendency of the right to basically go along with misinformation no matter who's doing it, right? What I mean by that is I saw a fuck ton of liberal accounts posting the shooters, like a photoshopped T-shirt of the shooter wearing like a Trump shirt that's not real. I saw so many people immediately go, "This is a groiper. This is a groiper. This is a groiper," and I wasn't online at the time, and I didn't have the opportunity to like seriously go back and forth on this stuff at the time, but I wasn't so certain. There were people saying he was a DSA guy. I knew that wasn't real. They just like doxed another random DSA guy, which was really fucked up, but classic. But a lot of people, and I think what's more interesting is that a lot of right-wingers, I think when they saw the shooter, also decided he might be right-wing. Okay? What do I mean by this? Because once they found out the demographic background, once they found out his like family, his family history, the right toned down the calls for civil war and decided we got to lower the temperature, decided we got to pray for this young boy's soul, this young boy's heart. That was insane because I felt like I got slapped up, like I got whiplash from how quickly they went from we have to kill every leftist person because this was very obviously a transgender Antifa leftist to we have to save this boy's soul by praying for him. And that led me to believe that maybe they think he's right wing. And I don't know if it's because they have more information that I was not privy to, right? Here's the Nancy Mace tweet compilation. That's the classic one that everyone is obviously pointing to. Time to bring back the death penalty. Enough is enough. Representative Nancy Mace comments on Charlie Kirk's killer allegedly being pro T-word. Okay? And then after the background of the shooter is found, we know Charlie Kirk would want us to pray for such an evil and lost individual like Tyler Robinson to find Jesus Christ. We will try to do the same. We truly believe if Tyler Robinson had ever sat down from Charlie, the great debater, the man of faith and grace he was, Tyler wouldn't have pulled the trigger. Like, it's insane. It's insane. They didn't even hide it. They just straight up went from this is a radical Antifa transgender, and we need to kill all of them to like, we have to pray for this young boy's soul. So I think it's like a combination of different factors. One, it's because not only was he white, but he was a corn-fed white boy. You know what I mean? He was a real ass like Mormon Utah boy. Okay. And I do think that these guys, unironically, I never thought this until this moment, but I really do think that a lot of right-wingers just straight up respond to race. Okay? I think that's it. Like when they see someone who is not just like white, but also not white in a spicy way where like they got a septum ring and fucking, I don't know, a hammer and sickle tattoo, but like just straight up, if you are like a white boy from a Republican family, they go, oh no, that's one of us. That's, it's obviously that this person was not like a leftist. Like that's the way they reacted to it, even if there wasn't enough evidence to suggest it at the time. And I think the other reason is because they saw the Groyper stuff. They saw the people being like, oh, this guy's a right winger. He voted for, or he's a registered Republican. He gave money to the Republicans, which is fake, by the way. That's a totally different Tyler Robinson, which again, Tyler Robinson is the most like, if you were to point to like the most average Utah boy, I would literally build out a profile of Tyler Robinson, right? Republican. It's like John Smith, Tyler Robinson, white boy, went to college for one semester, dropped out, didn't pursue it, and went back and got like an apprenticeship, went to a technical school. Like he did the most right-wing shit that you could possibly do. Not saying that like anyone that goes to a technical school is right-wing, but like that is how the right has presented the best possible future. You come from a good family, your family is always there for you, and then you don't go to college because college makes you woke and gay, and you get an apprenticeship instead, right? Like you go to a technical school, you get an apprenticeship, you work a real job, an honest job, right? None of this like fake gay vaccine related college jobs. Like he did all of that. He's a gun pervert, family of gun perverts since 8 years old. He's been like, shooting guns and whatnot. So I think like when they saw all of that stuff, they went, oh, this is probably one of our guys. As I also mentioned, like Governor Cox said. So they decided, oh yeah, no, we should maybe dial it back a little bit.
天上太阳风呀风通通的，西中太阳是毛泽东的，看看到我们的接班嘞，这一本身当家做主人，一呀一自由，两呀退的话。